ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hello, welcome to Duran ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.
So do you know that a news from the Middle East reported that Indonesia's de-radicalization program for jihadists or terrorists has 95% of success rate?
Oh, that's very good. How is it?
So it's basically combinations of educational, psychological, and rehabilitation methods. They even talk to the family and friends.
This is definitely using soft approach. Very interesting.
That's correct. And Indonesia also counter radicalization on all levels. Prevention in schools, the hometown, and even the mosques.
This is a more holistic way at addressing radicalization by cutting the issue from the roots, creating a different narrative on what Islam is all about, which is about peaceful and non-violent religion. Anyway, on our ASEAN Daily today, we will bring you daily updates and commentaries on issues and events that are impacting this region. I'm your host, Arlene Tan.
I'm Grace Cho, and today, Monday 7th of March 2016, we'll bring you the latest politics and current affair news from Southeast Asia.
Our top story today, Malaysia's chaotic politics took its most bizarre twist so far last week when former Premier Mahathir Mohamad and the opposition leaders banded together under the so-called Citizens Alliance to oust Prime Minister Najib Razak.
So there were, of course, mixed reactions to this alliance. Some supported and some took a moral stand against it.
Well, the thing is, Tun Mahathir is considered a chameleon. He was part of the institutional weakening and rampant corruption that snowballed until today. Yet he's now being hailed as the savior for Malaysia while sitting in front of the slogan Save Malaysia next to opposition giant Lim Kit Siang.
So this unfolding political drama from Mr. Mahathir's latest gambit is set to keep Malaysia's political temperatures running high and put him at the forefront of the campaign against Datuk Seri Najib.
But not everyone is in support with the Save Malaysia slogan. For example, PAS, the conservative Islamic arm of the coalition, is showing allegiance to UMNO. Its top leadership has publicly declared that it will not back the Citizens Alliance against Mr. Najib.
So the leadership vacuum in the opposition is offering a new political platform to Dr. Mahathir, who no longer enjoys the political influence he used to wield in UMNO.
The strategy looks good on paper, definitely, but the thing is, in reality, the odds are stacked against Tun Mahathir and his awkward band of opposition personalities who have unfortunately little in common with each other apart from their hostility towards Prime Minister Najib. Talking about another arranged marriage.
That's a good way of saying it. Well, let's not forget Tun Mahathir's Machiavellian involvement in shaping Malaysia's politics throughout the decades. He sacked and jailed Anwar in 1998 because his deputy's economics policies to deal with the regional financial crisis, they were threatening the survival of his business cronies.
And it did not take long for him to sour on his successor Abdullah Ahmad Badawi shortly after taking over the premiership in November 2003, because Badawi decided to stop several of Tun Mahathir's mega projects.
So what he did was, to Mahathir's, he had mercilessly set out against the Tun Abdullah, forced him to step down and also even hand over the premiership to Mr. Najib, which happened in April 2009.
And the big push against Najib came early last year when Dr. Mahathir began attacking him for systematically undermining the independence of the key state institutions and mismanaging the country's economy and corruptly abuse public funds in the financial debacle at the 1MDB.
Well, however, many issues that caused the downfall of Malaysia today are direct legacy issues from Dr. Mahathir's more than 2 decades in power, from undermining of key public institutions to assault on the judiciary to his failed industrialization push such as Proton, Pawaja and the PKFZ and many more.
But fatigue with Tun But fatigue with Tun Mahathir brand of combative politics is gaining ground among the rural Malays.
So it was the best sum up last week by PAS Information Chief Nasruddin Hassan, who said that the former premier move to leave UMNO smacked of political expediency. I can predict that Dr. Mahathir will return to UMNO the moment Najib steps down and is replaced with the individual of his choice, he added.
Many are questioning if Tun Mahathir is really serious about reforming the country or merely exerting his Machiavellian streak. You never know.
That's correct. Well, let's move on to the next news. Philippines is ready for ASEAN Plus 3 multi-currency bond framework.
And SEC chairperson Teresa J. Harbosa said that they are looking forward to the ASEAN Plus 3 multi-currency bond issuance framework, or short for MBIF, to be ineffective, especially that the Philippines is one of the target countries for this MBIF issuance.
So, under this Asian Bond Markets Initiative, the MBIF aims to address the diverse regulations and market practices among the 10 ASEAN members, plus China, Japan, and South Korea.
The great thing is, with MBIF, issuers will need to comply with only one set of guidelines rather than many guidelines in raising funds in an unfamiliar market instead of just dealing with different applications in various territories. This will help to reduce the time needed to obtain regulatory approval.
So, the AMBIF will manage the foreign exchange risks of participating companies since they can raise the capital in the currency they are earning also, the ACE Commissioner explained.
The Philippines is among the 6 jurisdictions, including Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Japan, and Hong Kong, that have been identified as possible markets for MBIF pilot issuance.
Right. Well, on another news, new drug routes opening in Southeast Asia. So what's happening is the growing amount of methamphetamine being trafficked into Southeast Asia suggests crime syndicates have set up a new route within the region and are linking previously unconnected markets. This is according to the UN.
And Coley Brown, country manager of the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, said that it is believed these crime syndicates are using this new routes to move not only drugs but also migrants and weapons.
According to him, people are not just dealing in one thing. We haven't seen clear connections between drug smuggling and migrant smuggling yet, but we have seen some areas where the routes look almost the same.
And it is also important for the law enforcement agency within the region to work together, not just UN, to share information so that they can better police these routes and clamp down on syndicates.
That's correct. Well, his comments come on the heels of 2015 International Narcotics Control Board, or INCB, report that describes the growing availability of crystalline methamphetamine as a worrying trend in the region, with arrests related to the drug in Indonesia increasing significantly since 2012.
In recent years, methamphetamine originated in Africa has been seized in Cambodia, China, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, and the Philippines. Also Thailand and Vietnam. And this is according to the report by the INCB.
Mr. Brown urged the countries in the region to also consider the importance of proportionality in their approach to law enforcement surrounding drugs, adding the region needs to also look at the treatment, prevention, and social integration of users.
Although the UN is against the use of death penalty for punishment.
But Ali Johari from Indonesia's National Narcotic Board, BNN, according to him, they will continue to pursue the death penalty for drug traffickers. He also added that we are the law enforcement agency. We are not in the position to give an opinion as to whether it can reduce the effect or not on drug trafficking.
That's all from our ASEAN Daily today. Thanks for tuning in to Durian ASEAN with me, Arlene Tan.
This is Grace Cho. For more updates on Southeast Asia, please go to our website at durianasian.com. But if you're on the go, you can always download our TuneIn app on your mobile.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channels at Durian ASEAN and Durian ASEAN TV. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, Twitter and Instagram. We always welcome feedback from our listeners.
Stay tuned with ASEAN Daily, Monday to Friday, same time at 12 to 1 p.m. on GMT Plus 8. Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.
You're now listening to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.